Some people make 12% annual returns in Phuket, while others lose tens of millions of dollars simply because they don't know the rules of the game in this market. My name is Diana Fedorova. I am a professional investor in overseas real estate. For 11 years now, I have been living on the island of Phuket and investing in it myself. And every year I see the same mistakes being made, even by experienced investors. In this video, I will reveal the top 7 mistakes that investors make when investing in overseas real estate. The most common and severe mistake will be at the end. Mistake number 7 is believing in renderings instead of analyzing the developer's previous track record. Most developers on the island are relatively new, and the projects they show in their latest renderings can end up looking very different from what you actually receive in the end. You should only work with developers who already have completed projects on Phuket Island, whose quality you can verify, as well as their rental rates and reputation. For example, my favorite developer, with whom I primarily invest, is the Banyan Tree Group, which has been developing 485 hectares of land here for more than 38 years. This is a developer who even offers you installment plans for up to 5 years after construction is completed. I think there's no need to say anything more about the security of such a developer. In 6th place is completely ignoring the location and focusing only on the price per square meter. Very often people chase the lowest possible price per square meter, not realizing that properties in such locations might remain vacant and only get occupancy for just a couple of months during the peak season. The most important thing is to focus on the closest possible distance to the beach. After all, Phuket is all about the tourist flow that comes here for these white sand beaches. And that's why properties located at the closest distance achieve both the highest rental rates and the best capital appreciation. For example, one of the properties I invested in is located just 100 meters from Bang Tao Beach, and I earned 248% on my invested capital in 2.5 years. Again, by investing with the same strategy, during the construction phase I pay only half, 50%, and for the remaining 50% I get a direct installment plan from the developer for as long as 5 years after construction is completed. A location within 500 meters of the swimming area of the beach is one of the top 5 most important criteria when choosing investment real estate. Watch my video where I go into detail about each of these criteria. Together with my DI Phuket team, we have compiled a list of the top 7 most investment attractive properties on Phuket Island as of today. The link is in the description of this video. Mistake number 5 is underestimating seasonality and climate features. Many people believe that the season lasts all year round and that even in the low season your property will still be in demand. But that's not always the case. For example, the Bang Tao and Laguna areas have occupancy not only in the high season but also in the low season, unlike many other areas. So, when choosing an investment property, you need to consider how the season will specifically affect the occupancy of your property. And the fact is that in the low season, Arabs, Indians, and Australians come. So the property should have contracts specifically with travel agencies from these countries. Mistake number 4 is choosing a property for yourself while expecting a return. Many people believe that if they feel good here, then others should feel good too. But this is fundamentally wrong. You need to focus precisely on the profile of your target audience. Who will be staying at your property not only in the high season but also in the low season? For example, you rent a bike and think that in just a minute you'll easily get to the beach with the wind in your hair. And in fact, everyone here rents bikes and cars. And why not? But let me explain. The thing is, a family with children, with a grandmother with a stroller, they won't be able to get to the beach if your property is a kilometer from the sea. They will choose properties that are located within immediate walking distance. And the maintenance costs, whether the property is 3 kilometers from the sea or 500 meters from the sea, will be exactly the same. But at the same time, the rental rate will be drastically different. And now let's move on to the top 3 most common mistakes investors make. And number 3 is of course not taking taxes and maintenance costs into account. Many agents present absolutely astronomical figures for profitability because they don't take into account how much money will actually be spent on maintenance costs. As someone who owns a property management company and has my own completed properties that are rented out and bring me profit, I can confidently say that maintenance costs can reach up to 25% of the income. These 25% include changing bed linens, towels, cleaning, check-ins, check-outs, salaries for managers and staff, as well as fees for listing on aggregators such as Booking.com, Airbnb, and others. It's also important to keep in mind that taxes do exist in Thailand. Yes, the property ownership tax is absolutely minimal. It's 0.01% for freehold. However, the profit tax for non-residents is 15%, which strictly speaking should be paid. In this matter, first and foremost, the developer should provide calculations of profitability for both short-term rentals and annual contracts, which you can confidently verify, first by checking the rental rates of neighboring properties, and second, by making sure all maintenance expenses and tax deductions are accounted for. And in second place is an incorrect management model. This is probably my favorite point, because I constantly hear from investors, why should I give my property to a management company when I can rent it out myself and accordingly keep all the profits? But that's not how it works. Because as a rule, those developers who allow their investors to rent out properties on their own, meaning they don't have their own management company, are actually creating price dumping in the property with their own hands. For example, I have an apartment, you have an apartment, and our videographer also has an apartment. And we all listed them on Booking, on Airbnb, and started undercutting prices ourselves to rent out our properties faster. So who benefits from this? No one. We just drove the prices down. The same thing happens with resales when it's not a centralized developer handling the resales, but everyone doing whatever they want. This is especially noticeable when there are more than 1,000 units and more than 1,000 apartments in a complex. What I would recommend in this case is to buy from developers who have a profit distribution system called a rental pool. A rental pool is when units or apartments with the same square footage and layout are combined into a single pool. Then, the profit is distributed proportionally among all investors. This way, it ensures your security, meaning you will also earn income regardless of whether your specific apartment is being rented out or your neighbor's. And the most critical mistake, number one, is the lack of an investment strategy. Before entering into a property, you need to clearly understand, are you buying it for resale, for rental income followed by an exit through resale, or as a long-term strategy for 15, 30 years and so on. There are completely different types of investment properties for each of these purposes. My company, Deep Phuket, and I organize large wholesale purchases with discounts of up to 25%, specifically for resale strategies. In this case, the investor can earn up to 30% per year and may also keep the property for rental, earning around 9 to 10% as well. But as a rule, these are properties that are not suitable for very long-term use, for example, for a strategy of 10, 20 years and so on. But for strategies where you want to maximize your rental yield, my absolute favorite properties are in Laguna, with an 8-year installment plan and within walking distance to the sea. Many people encounter difficulties precisely at the stage of developing a strategy. And so that you don't invest blindly, we go through your goals, objectives, budget, and the investment strategy itself together, and based on that, we select the investment property. If this resonates with you, leave an application using the link in the description, and my company's managers will contact you immediately. This was Fedorova Diana with you, a professional overseas real estate investor and a speaker at the largest international conferences. We work only in safe markets such as Phuket and Dubai, and more recently also in Bali. Subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with the latest news and the most attractive investment offers.